My name is Windy Goodale. I am a customer success leader here at Atlassian, and I'm joined on stage by my customer, Air France-KLM. We're really excited to have you at the session today and to share their journey beyond cloud and iterating on the system of work. So why don't I just turn and have my team members introduce themselves. Jordy?
Hello everyone, I'm Jordy Essed. I'm the product owner for the DevNet team within Air France-KLM. I started there about 4.5 years ago as a Scrum Master and DevOps engineer before gradually rolling into my current role.
Perfect.
I'm Hicham Ouali. I've been at Air France-KLM for 2 years. Started out as a DevOps engineer and now also fill the role as a Scrum Master with a lot of pleasure.
Perfect. So we have a pack-filled agenda. We're going to talk a little bit about Air France-KLM and the DevNet team. What do they do? Who they are? Then we'll move on to the challenges and opportunities that they saw as they thought about migrating to cloud and the catalyst for change. We'll then talk specifically about their system of work today and how they're leveraging the Atlassian platform and the early wins post-migration. And then we'll move to future plans, how they're adopting new capabilities, and how we work together to deliver those capabilities to their end users and developers. So with that, Jordy, I'm sure most of the people in this room know what Air France-KLM does, but can you give us an idea of the scope and the scale of Air France's operations?
Yeah, of course. So Air France-KLM is an airline, actually a combination of 2 airlines. And we've been in business for over 100 years. Last year alone, we had about 100 million passengers make use of our services. So from getting from A to B in good comfort and safe, serving about 90 different countries. And together with 75,000 colleagues strong, we proudly do this.
So who took a plane and flew on Air France-KLM? Exactly. I didn't this time, but I do every time I fly. A great brand and a great company. So let's talk a little bit about the DevNet team. Tell me a little bit about the team, what you guys do, what you manage.
So our team serves about 10,000 customers. These customers, they vary in knowledge on the Atlassian platform tools. Our main responsibility is managing the CI/CD, so the continuous integration and continuous deployment pipeline. Here we maintain, improve on, and we do this with you build it, you run it philosophy. The teams that we collaborate with across many different departments, so we have IT operations, development, business and management, of course. So yeah, about 10,000 users. We use Jira for issue tracking, of course, project management, Confluence for documentation, but also GitHub for code repository and Bamboo or GitHub Actions for code deployment.
Yeah, this is my small but mighty team. I mean, tons of users, tons of apps seamlessly being delivered by this team, so it's incredible. Let's talk a little bit about then the challenges that you saw that sort of guided you on your cloud journey and the opportunities.
So to start off with, for us, moving to the cloud wasn't just about overcoming technical hurdles. That was really about creating a system of work where people, practices, and tools could scale seamlessly together. And we had some challenges, of course. What we saw that was that we were being bogged down by maintenance and disrupted with downtime there, of course, due to LCM updates, but also, of course, the security updates. When comparing on-prem to cloud, we also saw that the on-premise functionalities and capabilities were really lagging behind compared to the cloud. And our user base was also very vocal about this. So in attempt to keep attracting and retaining top talent, it was very clear to us that moving to the cloud was the good choice there.
Great, perfect. So these are some of the challenges our customers shared with us, and we took these challenges and really built our philosophy around the system of work. And the system of work is our philosophy that all teams should be aligned, both across technology and business teams, to deliver value to your end customers. And so, Air France-KLM, as well as many of you in the audience, are technology organizations, right? You may deliver someone on a plane getting from A to B, you may be a reservation system delivery, you may do many of other things, but Air France-KLM and many companies are technology companies. So they have adopted the system work in several different ways. So today, Air France-KLM, as Jordy mentioned, is using 10,000. They have 10,000 users on Jira and Confluence, and they also use Jira Service Management. Jira Service Management is a way for the team to get feedback on certain things that they need help with, but as well, they have multiple service desks in place, and Jordy will talk a little bit more about that. They're also leveraging and starting to use Jira Product Discovery with some of the teams for early ideation. And we've also started piloting Rovo. They're already using Atlassian Intelligence, and we've started looking at Rovo and opportunities to leverage Rovo in different capabilities. So Hicham, let's talk a little bit about, I talked about the footprint. Let's talk a little about the specifics of how the teams are leveraging the system of work platform.
Yeah, so across the Atlassian platform, everybody has access, of course, to the same information. Makes it possible for us to also work in a connected way with each other. It helps us a lot with aligning our work to our goals, tracking, planning our work together, and also sharing information in general, of course. But for us, one of the key benefits with this integration comes with how we efficiently mass cooperate, actually. When it comes, for example, to creating a board or a roadmap, for example, with Jira timelines, plans, roadmaps, but more importantly with Confluence whiteboards, for example. But these tools are mainly used by IT ops at the moment for us. And at the end of the day, it's not mainly about the tools separately being used, but mainly how they synergize with each other and how they complement each other, especially with Jira, Confluence, and service management in general. For us, it shows up mostly in 3 key areas in that sense. First off would be project management. In general, that would mean that we actually are able to deliver projects faster, for example, but also keep our teams aligned with the rest of the organization, of course, when it comes to the planning of these things. With the available features also within Jira and Confluence, we have improved documentation, the issue tracking, but also stakeholder management, which is quite important. In general, that actually creates a very nice environment to work in, or mainly cooperate. For the second part, I would say the second key area would be service management in general. It helps us across the board actually to provide better service to all of our users in that sense. For example, with quicker responses, more complete responses, mainly things like that in general. And when it comes to our third key area, it would be PI planning, mainly at scale. Being able to have the Confluence whiteboard as a tool actually helped us also phase out different other whiteboarding tools in that sense, and also help us unify these tools or the usage of these tools in that sense. So that's the quicker overview of the tools themselves. But when you look, for example, at the possibilities within that, you can also look, for example, with service management at automation or implementing different features that actually increase efficiency even more. So yeah, that's for us the main key areas that we have improved on.
Thank you. So we talked about the tech, right? But we know in any transformation and any journey, it really is about the ways of working and the people and the process. So how is the system of work and how you're embracing the system of work evolving the ways that people work at Air France-KLM?
I guess you could say we're evolving by really embedding new practices into the organization so that we can genuinely support our users with the tools so they can be more empowered, collaborate easier, and with this all together, create a better outcome-driven organization. We do believe that the tools alone can't create the value. You need the people and also the foundation of shared practices. Specifically at our own platform, we focus on quality of service. And we do this by, for example, implementing SLA service level agreements on the many service desks to make sure that there's a timely time to response or time to resolution. In addition, we also make sure that the teams have on-call rosters so that there's always reliable support at all times. Another point is information sharing, where we make use of Confluence as a central information hub, where all the different teams that make use of Jira also have a Confluence space and there they are encouraged to document their work processes. All the different teams have access to Confluence and the other teams their spaces as well. So this really ensures that everyone can find the information that they need. Another one is the service desk. Many different teams have a service desk which they use to reach their customers or have their process of ticketing on that service desk. But also a lot of customers, if they have an issue with one of the, for example, an API tracking revenue or flights, then those teams have a service desk for that API where customers can raise their concerns or look for support. Next up is that about 5 years ago we had a agile transformation, and this transformation really revolves around aligning on processes. Well, since it's an agile transformation, all the teams within IT aligned on working in the safe way, in the scaled agile framework, where they also decided to use Jira as the main tool for project management. And lastly, what our team does to really make sure that the users making use of the product adopt it as much as possible is to proactively collect feedback. So it's really important for us to know what the users are experiencing, where they are facing issues. And if they are facing issues, they can always reach us via our service desk, because we really believe that if someone is facing an issue there on, let's say, Jira, and they have just started, then this could really make a big difference in if they have a good experience or a bad experience. So what we also do is when we see that people create a new project, we really take the time to give them one-on-one guidance, because we see that at the start of project creation, if there is at that point a little bit extra guidance, then that goes a really long way.
Wow, that's high touch. Also, I think what's really interesting about the adoption component is the Jira community at Air France-KLM brings ideas back to us of what they'd like to be using and what they'd like to see. And so it helps us continue to iterate together as a team, which is really, really quite nice and fun to see. So let's talk about then quick wins once you got into cloud, as well as maybe share some of the bumps, along the road, that turbulence along the road.
So before moving to the cloud, we already knew from the outset that the cloud would benefit us in many ways. So saving a lot of hours of time, money in some sense, stability, reliability of the cloud. And if you look at the early wins that are stated here, so about 600,000 in hardware costs alone per year, and about 100,000 hours of time saved. But those aren't really early wins. I would say it's very important when looking at the migration that a bit of expectation management is important, as there is really some necessary aftercare once migrating. It's really needed. But if you really address those transitional tasks, then once you're over, the first thing that comes to mind for our team was peace of mind, not having to worry about maintaining or keeping the instance up. Being responsible for the downtime, so then it's of course Atlassian who has to do this. So far, so good for us.
That's good to hear. Thank you.
So the team's really happy with that. The other thing is the biggest thing for us as well is where we saw on our on-premise environment where we were pretty much related, or we were restricted by the hardware we had at that time. So as our instance grew larger and larger and more complex, we saw that it also was having performance issues. We don't have to worry about that in the cloud anymore. So stuff like more workflows for different teams and more complexity is not an issue when thinking about implementing something of that scale.
So let's talk then about, now we're in cloud and we're starting to think about how can we expand our wings and gather and use new capabilities. And that's where we spend a lot of our time as a team together looking at. So Hicham, let's talk a little bit about some of the capabilities we've been working on together.
Yeah, so first one would be better collaboration. For example, with Confluence whiteboards, like I said previously, it's being adopted widely within our organization now, and we actually have taken the opportunity to make as much users adopt it as possible so that we can unify all of our tools, especially because we already use other tools of Atlassian like Jira, which just integrates really nicely, of course, and just enhances our experience. So in that sense, we're doing our best for even better collaboration. And like you said previously, we do have a lot of contact with the Atlassian team itself. So sometimes when we have better certain suggestions or improvements, they really listen, and that also gives us the confidence to keep moving forward in adopting it. In the sense that we also know there are many other features coming, for example, for whiteboards. So that's a good part for when it comes to better collaboration. When it comes to AI as a teammate, for example, our implementation is, again, small but mighty in that sense. We do a lot of small iterations of items, for example, when it comes to summarizing issues or having plain text automation or plain text conversion to JQL queries, or the automatic creation of subtext, for example. So many small drops, but they eventually do fill the bucket in that sense. And it does have, we do get a lot of positive feedback from our teams, because sometimes it's those small hassles that are actually, that give the teams the more time to work on more serious matters in that sense. So when it comes to internal service, we have a lot of things actually that we can mention. One of the main things is when it comes, for example, to the average time to first response. When it comes to our service management, we've seen a decrease of 40% in that sense, which is a lot. Means that a lot of our users are, of course, very happy with the service that we are providing. But what we also see is that there are a lot of teams that are trying to leverage the service management tool itself, because, for example, you do not need an account for all your users. So we have seen an increase in requested service desk projects, for example, even from non-IT teams, because of the fact that they see that, for example, with a cabin crew or HR or sales, in that sense, their user base can be reached now in a broader sense. And they use it for many different things, whether it is receiving feedback for their own team, or bug reporting, or any other type of service that they actually offer. So in that sense, it has a lot of benefits, or at least improvements within our internal service. And again, like my colleague Jordy also said, because of the fact that we do not have to spend as much time on LCM, we actually do have a lot of time on hand to help our users integrate much more features. So in that sense, we do not just give them the project, we also tell them about all the other features that are available, which in that sense also increases their efficiency again. You can think about automations, whether it's a simple automated response when submitting a ticket, or having playbooks for actually the service desk agents, so that they know what to do, for example, in a certain incident or things like that. So in that sense, it does help us a lot, but also our consumers itself. Next one would be autonomy while maintaining standards. So for this one, actually the example would be quite simple, but very effective. So we have a lot of users, of course, and every user has a different requirement for their project, or at least they think that they need it. So we have a lot of requests, for example, for custom fields. But the problem, for example, with custom fields is that the Jira administrators will have to create them and manage them. And you can imagine with 10,000 users, that would be a lot for a team of 7. So we often have those discussions within our teams, and with the introductions of Jira Forms, we were actually quite happy, because it is a way for our users to be able to customize certain fields without us as Jira administrators having to manage or create them. So that gives them the autonomy, and us also in that sense, because it frees up our time. So that's a very nice addition in that sense. And lastly, when it comes to connecting IT and business teams, the main tool that I would like to mention would be platform experiences. So as a Scrum Master or a product owner or someone in management, there is always a need for a higher level view to be able to track the progress of certain projects and things like that. This functionality in itself brings that possibility for the Scrum Master, Product Owner, or Manager. And even more so, sometimes you just see those features even if you didn't realize that you had certain needs. You see all those different features and think, hey, that's something we can actually also implement, and that would make my life even easier. So in that sense, that's also a big improvement. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. This is just scratching the surface of the things that the team's working on as they look to adopt more and more in the system of work in our platform. So let's talk a little bit about how we partner together and how you contribute to the Atlassian community as well as a whole.
So, of course, our partnership with Atlassian has been instrumental in achieving successful outcomes on our on the instance. How we do this is we start by first really listening to what our internal customers are requesting from us. As I mentioned before, we have our service desk where our customers really place a lot of feedback and also let us know where the issues are and what they really want to have. So we start with this. Then we also have the very transparent release schedule from Atlassian itself on our admin portal, so we know what's coming up. Well, we know for sure then what's coming up and also when it's coming on our own instance, so it differs a bit from maybe other people their instance. And then I think the one we had the most help with lately is our customer success manager. Here today with us, Windy. We have a bi-weekly cadence where we review the ongoing progress on the platform, and we look at things like adoption metrics, feature usage, and we're able there to, of course, raise concerns or impediments and see if there are any solutions available from Atlassian. Also being able to, via Windy, talk to product leads, so from them we can get some insights into what's coming and use those to our best advantage to position ourselves to really derive the maximum value from the product.
We love the product feedback, so I really enjoy the sessions. All right, so let's talk a little bit about your top tips and tricks for migrating now that you can see the clouds in the distance.
Yeah, so migrating, of course, from on-prem to on-cloud is a huge experience in that sense, so there are a million different types of advices you can give. But one of the biggest advices that we can give you is that you shouldn't treat the migration as a technical project in itself. It's much more than that, because you actually should take the chance to rethink your system of work in general within the organization. A colleague of ours usually has a saying that he often repeats every time something goes wrong or might go wrong. He always says, never waste a good crisis. So in that sense, migrating isn't a crisis in itself, but of course it's a huge undertaking. And with a big undertaking like that, you get company-wide attention. So in that sense, you can actually take that into your advantage. So instead of just migrating from on-prem to the cloud, make sure that your users also are aware of certain features and that you actually guide them and encourage them, of course, on adopting them. So it's not about just moving from on-prem to cloud in itself and that's it. No, take the advantage of the attention you're getting at that point to even make bigger changes. Biggest plus for us was the fact that we did not have to think about lifecycle management in that sense. And during the migration and also after, of course, we had some extra time to be able to guide our users and also inform them of those upcoming features that are available in the cloud and excite them for it so that they start planning for it. Hey, we have a project, let's do it like this, or these features are available, we can use them. So in that sense, that's one of the biggest tips we can give. When it comes to the migration itself, Efficode as a partner was a crucial partner for us in the migration. Their knowledge was invaluable in that sense. So what is important when it comes to migration is that you shouldn't only think about the migration in itself as in we're going to the cloud. No, you need an experienced partner that also can assess the prior situation. Why is that important? Just for example, as a question, how are you going to migrate? Is it going to be in waves, for example, with the projects, or is it going to be a lift and shift? And having an experienced partner like Efficode actually does help a lot when assessing that situation, what would be best in your current one. And also what's also important is to keep in mind that our migration personally started initially quite slow because of certain requirements that we had when you think about, for example, GDPR or security policies that you have within the company itself. So in that sense, it started slow also because of the discussions you had to have on strategic and tactical level with all different kinds of stakeholders. Everybody, of course, has a say in it and has a certain view on it. But as soon as that was finished, the assessment and the discussions with the stakeholders, things like that, the migration actually accelerated quite significantly. And honestly, again, because of the partnership with Efficode, it actually had a huge impact for us. So in that sense, it went quite smoothly. And for us, that is one of the most important takeaways for the advisors. And last but not least, involve security from the get-go. That's one of the advices we should definitely give you because of, well, it can have a big impact on the process.
Great. Well, thank you all for joining. We are unfortunately out of time.
Thank you. Thank you.